We have some detail on a game I'm looking forward to, because a good open world Bethesda style RPG will always be on my radar. Well, this information comes from Jez Corden. We'll read the most important parts from the article. Moving through pre-production towards a playable alpha state. Indeed, Obsidian is likely close to having a working early version of the game, with many mechanics and core gameplay pillars already implemented. For those who don't know, we've only seen Avowed in pre-rendered CGI trailer thus far. The game is set in the Pillars of Eternity universe known as World of Eternity, and utilizes a first-person viewpoint similar to Obsidian's The Outer Worlds. Avowed seems to be based on a similar enhanced engine from The Outer Worlds, complete with action-oriented first-person combat and deep RPG exploration and narrative systems. We were told Avowed will feature multiple classes, playstyles, borrowed from Skyrim's two-handed combat system. You could wield 2 daggers and be a stealth archer, or dive into archery with a 2-handed bow. You could use a combination of swords and magic, or go full 2-handed magic, which required to wield some of the game's more potent spells and abilities. Avowed will feature many elements Pillars of Eternity fans will be familiar with. Wizard spells like Jolting Touch, which will fry enemies with forks of lightning, will be present. 2-handed spells like fireballs and conjured using complex looking hand gestures, but decimate enemies in a storm of magicka and fire. I also saw status effect spells like Fetid Caresses, impounding enemies with corrosive poison. Weapon enhancements seem to be a big feature too, with magically enhanced swords and frozen arrows. As an example, pillar-style guns may also appear in-game, similar to muskets found in the original 2 titles. Familiar lizard-like creatures will appear, along with much larger and deadlier threats, all the way up to wyverns and drakes. The combat seems to be more loaded than Elder Scrolls, which gives you mountains of spells in a gigantic list. Warriors will get access to more physical attacks like swordplay, powerful kicks, and shield bashing, while casters will be given a range of spells, spellbooks, options to customize and tailor their combat styles, with attacks bound to specific buttons. If The Outer Worlds was Obsidian's take on the Fallout style game, Avowed is undoubtedly Obsidian's take on the Elder Scrolls. The 2-handed first-person combat style is unmistakable, but there are obvious differences in early documentation. At least directly compared to the likes of Skyrim and Oblivion, Avowed seems to be far more colorful game, reminding me far more of The Outer Worlds. Luminescent cave mushrooms, vibrant forests, awash with gigantic flora, and hulking sunlit temples, complete with skeleton-infested deaths and tombs aplenty. It came as a bit of a surprise given the game's trailer, which seems like it was trying for a much darker tone, save for the neon spell effect. Pillars of Eternity does seem to take environmental interactivity a bit further in The Outer Worlds too, complete with swimming capabilities. We've even heard of destructible environments, using lit torches and fire spells to burn down block entryways. Fire spells leave areas coated in flames too, which cascaded against walls and floors. As far as the story and layout, I can only speculate. I'm not sure whether it will go full-blown open world like modern Elder Scrolls games, or utilize something more like the Outer Worlds hub system, which connects large areas with an overworld map, complete with interior areas and dungeons. I expected it to be the latter, as given Obsidian's great control over pacing and narrative, which is one of the studio's biggest strengths. There is some evidence that it will go fully open world given previous job listing. He goes on to say he expects the gameplay by E3 2022. A bit more details on someone that played the game. Calibri reminds him more of a vibrant Elder Scrolls with a beautiful landscape. The spells seen at the end of Avowed trailer in 2022 was in the game exactly as is featured in the trailer. First person animations and spells overall are a big focus in Avowed. Avowed will be Obsidian Unleashed. Now my thoughts. Having not played the Outer Worlds, most of this sounds like music to my ears. First, the setting. I honestly have not heard of Pillars of Eternity, but from a quick look at the world and lore, it has potential. But the setting from description sounds much more lively, high fantasy compared to what I've seen from Eternity. It's being compared to Fable. Honestly, the way it sounds, it kinda reminds me of Digimon a little bit. The gameplay. For those who complained about the lack of magic in Elder Scrolls Skyrim, they sound like they will be right at home here. Not only would there be a plethora of spells, they will be very important and have their own unique animations as well. Though I do wish it went more into detail on the basic melee combat, but there is mention of environmental effects. Usually aside from burning people or the floor around them, spell effects really are never that impressive, but with destructible environments, it could be interesting. I think for the most part, even those critical of Bethesda are happy to hear of the Skyrim comparisons. What people are not happy to hear are the comparisons to the Outer Worlds, which I know really disappointed a lot of people. But I think this game will be a great opportunity for Obsidian to really show off their full potential in this era. Avowed will be Obsidian Unleashed. So with time and budget, I think we will have something that casual and hardcore fans can enjoy. But what do you think? Are you excited? In other news, Codemasters' next unannounced game will be the most ambitious and biggest AAA game in over a decade, yada yada yada. Listen, all I want EA and Codemasters is Overlord 3, please. Well, that's it for another Gaming Telios. Please remember to like, sub, hit the bell. Later.